All right, so this is lesson 7.3, and this is multiplying polynomials. Most of the time, you're going to be multiplying a binomial times a binomial, but we can multiply other ones. So there's generally two methods that we use, and there's a nickname for one of the methods. So the first one is distribution. We're going to do two examples with this one. So we've got x plus 2 times x plus 5. Okay? So I can distribute x times x and then x times 5. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm saying x times x plus 5. Okay? So this x is here. And then I can also say I can distribute the 2 to both. And that would be this positive 2 times x plus 5 again. So this positive 2 is this positive 2. And then I simplify by actually distributing. So x times x is x squared. X times 5 is 5x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 5 is 10. I almost always will end up with like terms adjacent to each other. Combine those, and we're done. Okay? So another way to do that, let's say we have a binomial x minus 5 times a trinomial. So x squared plus 2x plus 1. Okay? And I'm going to color code this with different lines. So I'm going to do x times x squared. That gives me x cubed. I'm going to do x times 2x, and that's 2x squared. And then I'm going to do x times 1, and that's 1x. Okay, so that's where those first ones came from. Okay, now let's go ahead and change it to blue. I'm going to do negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. Negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. And negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Now I'm going to combine like terms. So I have no like term with x cubed, so that one's going to stay. And then 2x squared and negative 5x squared are like terms, so those are negative 3x squared. And then I also have like terms with x and negative 10x. So if I add those, then I get negative 9x and minus 5. Okay, now let's take those same two examples and do that a different method. And this is called the table method. Okay, so I'm still going to keep the same two problems, x plus 2 and x plus 5. All right. And we're going to make a table that is 2 by 2 because I have a binomial times a binomial. And I'm going to say x plus 2 and x plus 5. Now, I like to write the sign here. You don't actually have to because it's an understood positive, but I always like to keep it there so that I remind myself that it is a binomial expression. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find the area of each box. So x times x is x squared. 2 times x is 2x. X times 5 is 5x. And 2 times 5 is 10. So then if I added all of these together, okay, we could write them individually. X squared plus 2x plus 5x plus 10. I still end up with my like terms here. And see how I get the exact same answer as above? These two are the same. So either method will work. Now the difference with this is because for the second example, if I'm going to do x minus 5 times x squared plus 2x plus 1, then I have a binomial times a trinomial. So I'm going to put the trinomial along the longer side. And then I'm going to do x minus 5 here, x squared plus 2x, and plus 1 here. And we're going to do the exact same thing. So we have x squared times x is x cubed. 2x times x is 2x squared. 1 times x is x. X squared times negative 5 is negative 5x. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. Oops, I forgot. This is a squared. And then 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Now, generally, I'm going to have like terms on the diagonal. See how these are like terms? It doesn't always happen, but it's usually a pattern. So then we can combine and say, okay, well, x cubed has no like terms. 2 and negative 5 combine to negative 3, and then we still have x squared. Negative 10x plus 1x is negative 9x, and negative 5 has no like terms. Did we get the same answer? We did. All right, those are the two methods. Another method that you'll see commonly heard of or talked about is the FOIL method. So it's essentially the exact same as distribution, but the thing is it only works for binomials, okay? So I'm going to redo this problem and show you what it is. So x plus 2 and x plus 5. So just like we did distribution over here with the orange and the blue lines, if we did distribution over here, so x times x, that's essentially multiplying the first terms. So that's the first terms. And that would give us x squared. And then if we did x times 5, those are the outer terms. So that gives us 5x, okay? So we've got first outer, and then if we did 2 times x, those are the inner terms because they're on the inside. That gives us 2x. And then we can multiply 2 times 5, and those are both the last terms in each binomial, and that would give us 10. So see how it gives us the exact same ones as below? But the acronym for it is FOIL, because you multiply the first times the first, the outer times the outer, the inner times the inner, and the last times the last. So they came up with this acronym. Honestly, it's the exact same thing as distribution. So whichever one you prefer, distribution or a table, they will always work. FOIL only works for binomial times a binomial. That's it for lesson 7.3. Let me know if you have any questions when you come in.